Hi guys, Elizabeth here. This is the fourth time I'm trying to do this video, so today it's going to be what it is, and I'm not going to redo it again. So today is July 27th, 2017. I am almost 1 month post-op from VSG for treatment of my gastroparesis. So far, things have been going pretty great. I'm down about 20-ish pounds or so total. That includes the 2-week liquid diet before surgery as well as since surgery. I struggled in the beginning with my nausea, but that's very common for any weight loss surgery patient. And then when you add the gastroparesis on top of that, it was probably worse than normal, which my surgeon warned me that that very well could be the case. He says that it's going to take about 6 months or so to know whether this is a success for me for the gastroparesis or not, before he'll say that it was the right thing to do. So far, I'm saying it's a success because since finishing the liquid Zofran and Phenergan as well as the pain meds about 2 weeks out from surgery or so, my nausea has been pretty much non-existent or tolerable without medication, or I've taken Zofran, the oral disintegrating tabs, once a day to maybe every other day, depending. And for me, that's amazing because I was on Zofran and Phenergan around the clock, every day, all day, just to function, and I was still nauseated. So that's a great change. Food-wise, I'm pretty much back on almost all regular foods, obviously in much smaller quantity. Still testing out new foods, almost a new food every day, and maybe not every day, maybe every 2 to 3 days at the least. And some have not been well tolerated, such as egg. I did the egg beaters the first time and only got a couple of bites, and that was not sitting well, so I stopped and didn't eat that again. I tried about 3 or 4 days later regular eggs, and that didn't sit that great. But I have had eggs 3 times since then now, and it has sat fine, which is great because it was, an easy high protein food for me. I don't like cottage cheese, so for like breakfast type stuff, eggs and yogurt are the best options for me to get the protein in. I also do the Fairlife milk, which is lactose free but has twice the protein and half the sugar as regular milk. I do the 2%, and I also do the chocolate, and it tastes amazing. I don't taste any difference from regular milk, but I was kind of lactose intolerant at times for when it came to milk before. Like, I can do cheese and yogurt and all that fine, and it doesn't bother me, but when I would have like a glass of milk or a milkshake or something like that, I would kind of have that upset stomach, gastrointestinal issues. So it's been wonderful for the Fairlife. Let's see. I have had dumping syndrome a couple of times now. A couple of the times were my fault, either eating too much or too fast, combination of both, or I had too much sugar the one day, and that was the worst. I get very hot and flushed feeling, but to the touch, my husband says I'm cold and clammy. I have to lay down and fan or air conditioning blowing on me in order to feel okay, and then it subsides on its own. I have thrown up 3 times now since surgery because of the dumping syndrome, or just from a food that just my stomach was not ready for. And then you just try again in a couple of days, real slowly, to that same food to see if your stomach tolerates it again. Medication-wise, I am back on all of my vitamins and my prescribed medications. I have the days of the week divided into 4 per day. I haven't taken any of my meds yet today, which has been bad seeing it's 2:30 in the afternoon. But I wanted to show and remember what meds I put in each one, and today is the day to set them up, so I haven't done them yet. So for morning, I have my calcium, B12, a D3, and my omeprazole. For the noon time, I have a Flintstone chewable multivitamin. All of my vitamins are chewable, which is part of why I'm on them kind of quicker than some people would be prescribed to be back on them, because I don't have to have room in my stomach for them. Of course, my D3 and my omeprazole are not chewable, but they're small enough that it doesn't make a difference. In the very beginning, I couldn't take any pills, solid pills at all, without causing pain. So I slowly started back on some of my meds that were my prescribed meds, and then with all of my other vitamins pretty much being chewable, it was no big deal to start back onto those. So again, for my noon, I have a chewable Flintstone vitamin and a chewable iron tab. For me, I can usually taste the iron in every kind of multivitamin, no matter what the dosage of it is, but this iron is from Journey brand. My mom found them. She had vertical sleeve gastrectomy 4 years ago, so she has been through a lot of vitamins as well. Her and I, when we'd find a new one, we'd tell the other one about them. So she found these. They're grape flavored, and I don't taste the iron in them at all. If they could make all vitamins that way, it'd be fabulous. So I recommend that if maybe you don't enjoy iron all that much. It's also does not have the calcium interactions as regular iron, which means regular iron can inhibit you from absorbing as much calcium. So that doesn't do that, and it does not have the constipating effect that regular iron can have as well. My evening meds is a biotin, another Flintstone chewable vitamin, and another calcium in order to meet what my surgeon requires for those. For my bedtime medications, other than my prescribed medications, is I still have a stool softener in every other day. Just because with the gastroparesis, sometimes regardless of what I'm doing, eating, sometimes I'm constipated. So I found it easier to just put it in here, and then if I don't need it, then I just skip it. Which actually, since surgery, I haven't needed it at all. I've had the exact opposite problem. TMI, I know, but I decided I wasn't really going to hold back on those kind of things because they're things that I wanted to know watching other people, so I'm going to tell you. So I've got my prescribed medications in here, which don't really apply to most people, and then I have chewable melatonin to help me sleep, which those have been fantastic because I struggle with my sleep. So vitamin-wise, that's my regimen. I have everything in here required by my surgeon at Cleveland Clinic, except for they sometimes recommend the vitamin C to be taken with your iron, but because I've got 2 of the complete Flintstone chewable vitamins, I've opted not to do that, and unless my labs show that I need more iron, I probably won't add the vitamin C. I just don't. It's not required. It's kind of an optional one, so I've opted not to because I take more than enough pills. So, trying to think, and again, I don't edit my videos, and so I'm sorry I'll have some of these kind of moments where I'm trying to think. I opted not to do any pictures or measurements of body prior to surgery, more so because, well, yes, I'm going to lose weight on this, and I'm going to enjoy that weight loss journey part of it. That isn't my sole reasoning, or really my reasoning for having this surgery at all. So I figure I'll enjoy seeing just in the mirror and people when they see me telling me how I look, rather than worrying about side-by-sides or really how much weight I've lost. To me, this was more about gaining my life back from the gastroparesis than necessarily my obesity. I blame most of my weight problems on the gastroparesis just because I could, gain weight or lose weight without trying one way or the other. And the more that I would try to lose weight, the more that I seemed like I would gain because of the gastroparesis and the polycystic ovaries. So I'm not worried about doing that. But My mom did say that it would probably be a good idea to do the pictures just so I could see, but I opted not to because it's not the main importance for me. I'm still struggling on the protein front to get things in and getting my water in, not for lack of trying, just because there's not enough volume in my stomach to get in everything. I've still done the protein shakes, I've done smoothies, I've done just the egg and chicken and all that kind of stuff. I've done all that, those kind of things. It's not been enough from what they want for the minimum of the 60. And honestly, I'm supposed to be 60 to 80. But most days I don't meet that. And I don't really meet the 64 ounces of water or 0-calorie liquids either. But I was never much of a drinker beforehand either, so have way more than doubled what I used to get in. So for now, I'm just gonna get what I can. Sorry, I keep trying to like hiccup or burp, which is part from the surgery as well. My trigger for when I am full or if I've maybe eaten one bite too many, I get the hiccups, and they're not like regular hiccups where I can hold my breath or do anything fancy to get rid of them. It's just my body doing what it wants to do. So that it's kind of annoying, but it's also kind of nice to have a different trigger other than just in my head or in my stomach saying, "Oh, you're full." So that's been interesting, but I also make noises now, which I knew I would just from experiencing with my mom. I call them kind of whale noises or demon noises because it's like the growling, gurgling noises, but they're not in the stomach, they're more like in the esophagus now. I asked my surgeon if he knows why that happens, and he said that he'd never had anybody ask him or tell him that happens, so he had no idea. Other than maybe just with removing 3/4 of the stomach, and it's kind of changing the stomach anatomy, over instead of like a stomach, it's the sleeve, that maybe the noise travels differently. He didn't really have much of an answer, but just forewarning to anybody possibly having surgery, whether it be the Roux-en-Y or the VSG, you might make more noises now than what you're used to. So I think that's about it. I don't know if there's anything else that I could really update you on without repeating myself. And like I said, I've tried to sit down and do this video several times now, and it just hasn't worked out. So it is what it is. And if you have any questions or comments, leave them below, and I will either answer them or I will address them in my next video. Thanks. Bye.